My dear students. I hope all of you are fine and having good health. Today we have the topic. It is the freezing point and the melting point. So mainly the freezing point, we're going to talk about it. It is the property of the liquids. It is the property of liquids. On the other hand, when we have the melting point, so melting point is mainly the property of the solids. Freezing point mean the change into the solid state, and the melting point means the change of solids into the liquid state. Simple a point the word comes because here we are going to measure or talk about the temperature. So let's have a look that what does mean by the freezing of the liquids. Basically, freezing of the liquids, it is a process in which the liquids changes into the solid state. And when we talk about the freezing point, as the word freezing point, so mainly freezing point, it is the temperature. At this temperature, when the liquid and the solid state are gonna to be exist in equilibrium, this temperature is known as the freezing point of the liquid. It's mean the temperature at which the liquid started to change into the solid state. This temperature is known as the freezing point of the liquid. Why the liquid started to freeze? For example, when we simply decrease the temperature of the liquid started to cool down. When it started to cool down or cool, then the kinetic energy of the molecules of the liquid started to decrease. When kinetic energy of the molecules decreases, then the vapor pressure of the liquid also decreases. In turn, the vapor pressure also decreases. When the vapor pressure of the liquid molecules is gonna to be decreased, then by decreasing temperature, a further stage comes when the vapor pressure of the liquid it becomes equal to the vapor pressure at the solid state is formed. So this is the simple sequence that how it is going to be changed into the solid state. Simply we need to know the temperature at which the liquid changes into the solid state. This state is known as the freezing point. For example, if we have a water in glass, so this is its liquid state. But when we just cool down that, it changes into the ice cubes or a simple ice. This state is its solid state. As in this picture, you can see there this is the ice as the water started to freeze, and after freezing, it changes into the simple ice. Next, we have the melting of solids. Simple, when we are going to talk about the melting, the solids changes into the liquid. This process we called it as the melting of the solids. Now, when we talk about proper melting point, then mainly the melting point it is the temperature at which the solids started to melt, and there is the existence of dynamic equilibrium. Likewise, the solid changes into the liquid. This process we call it as melting, and the liquid changes into the solids. This state we call it as freezing. So a state comes when these two physical states of the liquid, or we can say solids, are coexist. That temperature is known as the melting point, and simple, this is known as the meltings. When we talk about the melting, basically it depends upon the strength of the liquids or the attractive forces of the liquids or the attractive forces of the solids. If the solids have strong electrostatic forces, or we can say that they have the strong intermolecular forces, then their melting point will be high, will have high melting points. But on the other hand, if they have weak forces, then their melting point will be low. So it depends upon the attractive forces of the different solids. Here we have the butter. When we just started to heat, and it is going to be changed from solid to the liquid, or started to melt. On the other hand, ice cube, if we keep it in the open atmosphere or the open surroundings, it will gain the energy from the surroundings and changes into the liquid state. And here we have many other example. The liquid metals, they are changes from solid state to the liquid state by increasing the temperature. Okay, let's have a look on the freezing points of some solids. Here we will discuss the freezing point of some solids. For example, if we talk about the water, as its freezing point is 0 degrees Celsius. And if we talk about the acetic acid or the vinegar basically, or a pure acetic acid, its formula is CH3COOH. It's a carboxylic acid and its freezing point is 17.0 degrees Celsius. On the other hand, if we talk about the benzene, its formula is C6H6. Then its freezing point is very less, that is 5.5 degrees Celsius. If we talk about the alcohols, that is ethanol, its freezing point is mainly minus 114.7 degrees Celsius. This temperature is very low, and its boiling point, melting point, we can say that the solids started to melt and the liquids started to freeze. So the ethanol is having minus 114.7 degrees Celsius freezing point. That is very high. So this is all about today's lecture, and if you guys have any queries, you may ask me about that. And the next topic we have, it is the diffusion and mobility of the liquids. This is also the property of the liquids. For that time, have a good day and Allah Hafiz.